So.
Oh man, this is so fun. Yeah, cheers.
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 Thank you
Yeah.
Thank you.
for everything.
So like my mother said, my normal day job is playing as a background musician. So I'm used to all kinds of distractions happening around me, and on more than one occasion I've like finished, playing something really heartfelt, just like, oh, and I hear this clapping erupting and people like hooping and hollering, and I look up kind of grinning to myself like, I earned that. And there's like 4 dudes facing a TV in the back because their team just scored a touchdown. And I mean, I'm so grateful that I have this gig because it actually pays the bills and stuff like that, but people aren't always paying attention. And it's low risk. If people aren't really focusing on me, it's hard to fail. And I've been doing this gig for like 8 years, and I will continue for the foreseeable future, but things are changing inside of me, and I feel like I'm tiptoeing out of the background and into the foreground of my life, and it's affecting my music, and that's why I'm here doing this tonight.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah.
So I am
My
taking
team just put it.
You can clap. You can clap. I am taking you on a 40-minute journey into the stories from my life.
All right.
I've been to Paris, Texas, and France. I stayed up all night for one more dance. I knew it might happen to me one day. Just thought I would find it far, far away. And I've been up and I've been down, searching for something so few have found. Sailed on the oceans around and around. Didn't think I would find it in my hometown. She laughs till she's crying. She's burned in the sun. You won't catch her lying at the end of a gun. She's dreaming of leaving her old sea town, lead her to looking what else is around. And I've been up and I've been down, searching for something so few have found. Sail on the oceans around and around. Didn't think I would find it in my hometown. I walk on the water, swim on the land. We go much farther if we're hand in hand. Everything's broken, but one thing remains. I see that love is to blame. And I've been up and I've been down, searching for something so few have found. Beautiful. Well, thank you. That song was actually written by my best friend in high school, Eli. And Eli wrote that as a wedding toast for his little sister's wedding. But I like to play it because it reminds me of where I grew up, which is a lot like Taos, this little tiny town in the Northwest called Port Townsend, Washington. It's about 8,000 people, and my perception of the town is that everyone is either a musician or an artist or a poet, or if they're none of those things, they're like raving fans of the arts. And I don't know if this is still the town motto, but we had this town motto on a bumper sticker, and it read, "We're all here because we're not all there." And that gives you a sense of the attitude of my people.
Sometimes that bumper sticker would be ripped off to "We're all here," or the other way.
We're all there.
We're not all there.
We're not all there.
Yeah, that would be
just kind of clarifying things.
Yeah, depending on what you're called.
That's great. Yeah, I love that. But when I left in 1999, I feel like I started to forget and lose touch of that part of myself a little bit. And it wasn't until 20 years later, when Oswald was born, that I started asking myself seriously, like, who am I really? And who do I want to be for this new person in my life? And as I started peeling back the layers of shame and fear and all of that, I caught glimpses of that little boy from Port Townsend, that little sensitive, heartfelt, musical little dude. And I am bringing him back into the world. That is my mission in life right now.
Awesome.
Yeah. This next one is an original, and I wrote this for my wife Polly when we were dating long distance. You've heard this one on the album. She was living in Brooklyn. She got accepted to this super awesome grad school, and I stayed in Austin. We couldn't agree, like, for her to stay, for me to go. So we're just like, we're gonna do this long distance. And I wrote this song, I think, as a birthday present. Never had any idea that this would end up on my album, but this reminds me of her. It's called "When I Think of You in Brooklyn." Empty coffee cup, rest in my hand, and I think of you in Brooklyn. Staring out the window, got a lot on my mind, and I think of you in Brooklyn. When I remember you, the distance seems to grow, but our hearts remain close. When I think of you in Brooklyn, the hat you gave at Christmas time hugs my head and warms my heart. And I think of you in Brooklyn. This cold folding chair reminds harder times, and I think of you in Brooklyn. When I remember you, the distance seems to grow, flowers bloom in pink and yellow on the shoulder down the road, and I think of you in Brooklyn. When I remember you, the distance seems to grow, but our hearts remain close. Yes, our hearts remain close when I think of you in Brooklyn.
You can actually hear all the chords and the sensitive way you are playing it.
Yeah.
Rather like when I hear you in the restaurant and there's
Well-
all the noises and it's really different.
The track on the album is a bit faster.
Oh,
There's a
yeah. Right.
It's a
Yeah.
there's a
You have a
beat.
full band?
No, I hired musicians for an album project.
Right. I would like to get one, and also maybe. Are you recording right
Yeah.
now a video?
Yeah.
I would love to have this song because this. Sorry, I'm.
Yeah, talk.
This with Julieta, this girl, like we were living here. We kind of like became in love in New York.
Really?
You know, because
Oh.
we were here in Taos, and we were kind of like the first year.
They didn't like each other.
Yeah, right. That's true.
Really?
So then we went to New York together, and everything happened.
Yeah.
So she's in Germany right now, but I would love to maybe then if we
Yeah.
can,
Yeah. Oh,
because
the song is
house and
yours.
This song is perfect. Promise it was
Yeah.
really deep in me when we were
Oh,
playing.
I'm so glad. That's
That's the
yeah.
magic of music, guys.
Yeah, it is, man. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. This next one is written by Mose Allison, and I feel like he wrote it about me. It's called "Your Mind is on Vacation and Your Mouth is Working Overtime."
Did you play it for your graduation?
I've played this. This
High
is probably
school
one of the
graduation?
first songs I think I ever learned to play and sing at the same time.
And perform.
And perform,
in
yeah.
front of a big audience.
Yeah. So this is but it's so true for me. It's just like every time I play it, I'm like, yep. So this is a peek into the conversation that's happening inside my head all the time.
Uh-oh.
You're sitting there yakking right in my face, coming on exactly like you own the place. You know if silence was golden, you couldn't raise a dime, because your mind is on vacation and your mouth is working overtime. You're quoting figures and dropping names. You're telling stories and playing games. You're over laughing when things ain't funny. You're trying to sound like you don't need money. You know if talking was criminal, you lead a life of crime. Because your mind is on vacation and your mouth is working overtime. You know life is short, talk is cheap. Don't be making promises you can't keep. If you don't like the song I'm singing, just grin and bear it. All I can say is if this shoe fits a web, if you must keep on talking, please try and make it right. That's the,
Really good.
that's my inner critic, just always there. Tell me what's up. So when I was 18 years old, this was 3 days before Y2K. Do you remember where you were on Y2K?
What does that mean?
The turn of the millennium, year 2000?
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
You know where you were?
Yeah.
You remember where you were? Well, I was on the road with my dad, towing a 27-foot trailer with all of our belongings.
Praying.
And,
That's probably how you came to religion. Like
Yeah,
praying.
I found religion after that.
Tell me what a contraption that was. How scared you were.
Yeah, oh man. And we drove that trailer down from Washington State, then Oregon, California, across Highway 10. And when we came into Austin, we hit an armadillo, like literally as we crossed into the city limits. Hit an armadillo, parked down at Barton Springs Trailer Park before it became condos. There was this trailer park right in downtown Austin. I don't know if this is staying. And this was what life was like living with my dad. Picture me slightly more svelte, a little more slender, a little more hair, and I'm sitting in our like pop-out dining nook in the trailer, and there's a nice young lady sitting across from me who I'm trying to get to know. There's my dad, just checking his email in his Hawaiian shirt and short shorts, which I wear Hawaiian shirt and short shorts now, but not cool for an 18-year-old. And I wrote this song out of therapeutic desperation.
Wait, is the girl your date or your dad's date? I'm a little confused.
I'm gonna let you.
Oh, okay, that's for us to decide.
That's for you to decide.
Yeah.
It was
Course I
someone I
wasn't
was
there.
trying to
Yeah.
impress.
Oh. Okay.
And then this is what emerged. This is what emerged from that.
Okay.
Okay. Living alright in Texas in my 27-foot trailer. But I know there's something missing. Say I'm out drinking coffee and I meet a real fine girl. I like her, she likes me. So what can I say? I wanna have some fun, baby. I know you do. Let's have some fun, baby. Just me and you. Maybe my dad. Oh yeah, come on down to my 27-foot trailer. You know I've been on you every day. Come on down to my 27-foot trailer. You know I've been on you every day. I wanna have some fun, baby. I know you do. Let's have some fun, baby. Just me and you. Ooh, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Living good in Austin in my 27-foot trailer. But I know there's something missing. Say I'm out on the dance floor and I meet the girl of my dreams. I like her, she likes me. So what can I say? I wanna have some fun, baby. I know you do. Let's have some fun, baby. Just me and you. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Come on down to my 27-foot trailer. You know I've been you do. Let's have some fun, baby, just me and you. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Save me from this prison. Lord, help me to get away. Yeah. Have some fun, baby. I know you do. Let's have some fun, baby. Just me and you. Yep.
Did she save you from prison?
Oh man, I don't know.
Who was it? Did I ever meet her?
There were probably a couple,
That I
but
know.
that might have. Yeah, I'm not sure which one that
I
was.
missed it for real.
So are you telling me that the Barton Springs trailer park is no more?
I think there might be one left, but Shady
Yeah.
Grove is condos.
Shady Grove?
Shady Grove is this
Oh my
giant.
God.
Yeah, it was Pizza Nizza. When we moved there, there was like that. There was a pizza place
Yeah.
out front, right across from Flipnotics, and then Pizza Nizza turned into Austin Java, and then now there's condos back there. Matthew McConaughey also had a trailer in that trailer park.
Oh.
Yeah, fun
is
fact. Matthew McConaughey, he's a yeah,
He's an actor, isn't
an
he?
actor. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a
What was he in?
oh god,
I've seen some, but I couldn't
what
tell
was he
you
in?
what. Anyway.
God, I should know this stuff. That's probably good that I don't actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Can't know everything.
Okay, so I get this question asked all the time. How did you get named Rigel? And
It's her fault.
the story goes like this. My parents, my mom, were a couple of lovely, wholesome, live off the land hippies, principled. And we're talking about like make your own almond milk from scratch,
Oh, yeah.
nutritional yeast with every meal.
Bruges yeast.
Bruges yeast, yeah,
Bruges.
Bruges yeast.
Bruges yeast.
Yeah.
Bruges yeast with every meal.
Yeast.
Okay.
And they had a daughter named Meadow. And Meadow was 2 years old when they decided this would be a great time to sail across the ocean. In a
just about
home-built,
young diapers.
that's right, in a home-built boat. And so that's exactly what they did. They built a boat from scratch in their front yard, and they painted these flaming eyes on the front. It's awesome. And they named it Look Far. And they had this giant like launch party, which I just found some video footage of. It is pretty amazing. This big launch party, and they set their boat in the water, and my dad gave a speech, and they launched off into the ocean and headed out for Hawaii. Now this journey is nothing but flat horizons in every direction for as far as you can see for 30 days. Okay, not a lot to do out there. See where I'm going with this? And this is the awkward part. I usually just kind of skip right through this, but I want to let this kind of sink in. And so then, the way you get to Hawaii before GPSs is navigating by the stars. And in the Orion constellation, Rigel is the left foot. It's a star, very bright star. It's a left foot in the Orion constellation. And they followed Rigel all the way out into the middle of the ocean and somehow hit this rock, Hawaii. And I don't know the exact details, but pretty much when they got there, I was no longer a twinkle in the eye. My mom was pregnant with me, and they did a little more sailing out there, and then she flew back, and my dad sailed back. And when they were all safe and sound in their little 350 square foot cabin, they had me. And they named me Rigel, Wind Song, Little Deer, Thurston. That is literally, that is what it, that is, here we go, here we go.
This is our hippie boy.
This is our hippie boy.
He's here.
Is that real?
That is on my birth certificate.
Yeah.
So
There's
you
a-
were in the ocean for 1 month?
yeah.
Well, it was more like 23 days. I'll have to check my
Just
Gmail.
say 30. It's 30 days. This
Well,
is
the whole trip was months.
30 months.
But
yeah.
we did leave from Puerto Vallarta, so not just
Yeah.
straight out from Mendocino.
Yeah.
But that's
This,
okay.
yeah, that's a detail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you tell me more about that?
Yeah, you know, I'll tell you more
Yeah.
about that later.
So Meadow, her full name was Meadow Morning Song, Little Deer, Thurston. And we were flower children, a little late in the game. But we
No, you're right in the middle of the game.
Oh, okay.
We got the height of hippie season.
sure, yeah, in Northern California, like it is still going strong
Oh,
there.
yeah. Your flower in your hair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
flower in your hair.
Yeah.
They were late.
Huh?
They were late.
Yeah, they were late, I know. And Meadow went on to go and become an artist and designer. And she was a musician too, and a world traveler. And she ended up out in LA, following her dreams into design and art. And LA was really hard for her. She was working like 3 jobs at the same time, and at some point she was having a hard time sleeping, and was very stressed out. I remember having these conversations with her. She actually stopped sleeping for 2 weeks, like solid. And I remember having these strange conversations with her where we'd be on the phone, and normally we're just like back and forth, just like jiving, you know. And she seemed so far away, and her voice was so small, and there were these gaps in our like interactions, like 3-second, 5-second gaps, and I was like, this is so weird, like what's happening? And then she did the unthinkable, and she took her own life. And it crushed me, it crushed all of us, I think. And seemed like such a fluke. Like, why would this happen to someone who is such a bright person? Like, she was the kind of person to walk in a room and just light it up. She turned heads, and there were benefits being her little brother. Like, I think I got special treatment because of Meadow. And she was proud of me. She was always proud to be my sister, and was always so supportive of my music. So this next song is by Sting. It's called Fields of Gold. Let's see if I get through this. This is my Meadow song. You'll remember me when the west wind moves among the fields of barley. You can tell the sun in his jealous skies when we walked in fields of gold. And so she took her love, and fought her gaze a while among the fields of barley. And in his arms she fell as her hair came down when we walked in fields of gold. Will you stay with me? Will you be my love among the fields of barley? In his arms, in the jealous skies, when we walked in fields swear in the days still left when we walked in the fields of gold. Many years have passed since those summer days among the fields of barley. See the children run as the sun goes down when we lie in the fields of gold. When we lie in the fields of gold. When we lie in fields of gold. That's a good one. Whew. This next one is an original that I wrote during a 100 days of 100 days of songwriting project, and the purpose of it. There's all kinds of like 100-day challenges out there that I see people. There's a lot of artists do actually. And I didn't see many for musicians, but the purpose of the 100-day challenge isn't necessarily to create like 100 songs or 100 pieces of amazing work. It's just to create a habit daily of being creative, and for me it was through music. And a couple songs came out of it, and this is one of them. It's called It's Not All Mountaintops. When I was a CEO, my name was written on the door. When I was a CEO, I had a corner office on the 7th floor. When I looked down at all the people rushing to pay the rent, one man held out an empty cup and offered me a story. It's not all mountaintops. It's not all mountaintops. It's not all mountaintops, my friend. When I was a stay-at-home mom, we had play dates on Friday afternoons. When I was a stay-at-home mom, little boys made spaceships out of spoons. One day a mom showed up with her daughter and a photograph of his son Ben. It's not all mountaintops. It's not all mountaintops. It's not all mountaintops, my friend. When I was a blues musician, I wailed on my guitar. I was a blues musician. I sang with all my heart. One day a man walked up to me and he dropped in at 10, and he looked me cold in the eyes and said, "Get a day job, son. It's not all mountaintops. It's not all mountaintops. It's not all mountaintops, my friend. It's not all mountaintops. It's not all mountaintops. It's not all mountaintops, my friend."
Wow.
Every character in that song is me. So it's a very, very personal song. I am coming up to my closing song. And we can hang out afterwards and rock out, or we can all go home, whatever y'all want to do. But I do want to share a little bit about where I'm at spiritually. And we got into a little bit at the table. But this is like a 4-hour conversation, so I'm giving you like the cliff notes of the introduction. As you know, I did not grow up in the church. I didn't know people went to church on Sunday until I moved to Texas. For us, church, the closest thing to church was hiking in the mountains and in Washington State, yeah. And being in nature and singing together and stuff like that. But then I moved to Texas and I found Jesus.
And Meadow went there to try and save me.
Yeah, Meadow. I remember Meadow saying,
She wrote me a letter. I'm going to Texas to save Rigel.
Yeah.
You there?
And this, it's like, living he loved me, dying he saved me, buried he carried my sins far away, rising he justified and freed me forever. One day he's coming back, glorious day. It's so fun to play that music. I just, it's great. It's great music.
You could give us just a hair more vocal.
A little more vocal? Okay. Well, let me turn that down and I'll lean in a little bit more.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. This is good.
Yeah.
But, so that was about 2004. And ever since then, I feel like I've gone in and out of phases of certainty with my faith. I've been like super certain, and then like not so certain and questioning, and then super certain again, and theological and doctrinal and historical. And now I'm more in an exploratory, blasphemous. I'm experimenting with blasphemy. It's like really, really resonating, I think.
Yeah.
We're all God.
We're behind.
But I do experience a power that is greater than myself. And lately, it's been happening when I'm in a group of people, and I meet with a group regularly who prefers to remain anonymous. And when someone shares something, I can tell they're being vulnerable, and it's taking courage to say what they're about to say. And when they say it and it lands with me and resonates, I do this. I go, me too. And when that happens, I feel like something transfers to me. Like I get a little piece of their courage to face my own stuff. And I know there's a psychological explanation for this, but for me, it's a power that's greater than myself, and it heals me. And it inspired this song that I wrote called "There's a River Running Through My Mind." I'm such a hippie. Deep down, it's there. It is there.
I feel the same way.
Yeah. And I wrote this in August of last year, so it's like 104 degrees, and this is about the temperature that I start getting religion again around 98, 99 degrees every year. I'm like, I'm coming home. So this is, I'm gonna get a little more water. It's so dry up here.
It's not going like the other way because of the hell side of things.
Yeah.
104, 105.
Yeah.
I believe.
I believe. Just get me through. Okay. Here we go. There's a river running through my mind, winding down the valley where the meadow lies. Snow-capped mountains soaring high. There's a river running through my mind where the water is cold, but it soothes my soul. Where the water is cold, and it soothes my soul. So dip your toes, hold my hand, close your eyes and jump if you can. Flow with the current, sun in your face, dream with me, baby, find a way to dip your toes, hold my hand, close your eyes and jump if you can. Flow with the current, sun in your face, dream with me, baby, find a way to stay forever. Let's stay forever. Let's stay forever. Let's stay forever. There's a river running through my mind. Smooth waters slows down time, and it meets the ocean where the sun is rising. There's a river running through my mind where the water is cold, but it soothes my soul. Where the water is cold, and it soothes my soul. So dip your toes, hold my hand, close your eyes and jump if you can. Flow with the current, sun in your face, dream big, baby, find a way to dip your toes, hold my hand, close your eyes and jump if you can. Flow with the current, sun in your face, dream big, baby, find a way to stay forever. Let's stay forever. Let's stay forever. Let's stay forever. Running through my mind. There's a river running through my mind. There's a river running through my mind. There's a river running through my mind. Dum 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 There's a river running through my mind.
Thank you very much.
I know, go jump in the river. That's an amalgamation of Barton Springs
Oh, yeah.
and Hurricane Ridge, which
Yeah,
is
the whole
the
river.
mountains that we used to hike in growing up. and that's my salvation in the summer. So that's it. That's all I have for you tonight.
Good job, man.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
so grateful you guys gave me your time to do this.
I'm so grateful with you. Thank you.
Man, awesome.
Wow, what a
It's,
treat.
yeah, that's quite a bit to share.
Nice.
Yeah, it's intense.
That's a lot to share, that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just diving in.
Expose yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's progress, man.
Yeah.
That's
And
progress.
so, I mean, I think that's why it works better in a house concert model.
Uh-huh.
Like, this is something and I'll probably tweak it, you know, and
How would you like to
eventually-
do a house concert on Maui?
I would love that.
I can arrange it.
Hey, I would love that. I would love that.
Yeah.
But this would not work in a bar. This would not work
You'd
in
be
true.
surprised, drunks are emotional.
I know.
Oh, weeping.
Yeah.
How'd you come up with the line, "It's not all mountaintops"?
Well, okay, that's an interesting question. I am.
Just this-
I tried to understand that one too.
Yeah, so It's Not All Mountaintops is actually a cliche I've used kind of like as a joke. Or maybe I'll tell a joke and like no one laughs. Or I'm trying to be funny and no one laughs and I go like, well, it's not all mountaintops. Like it can't be all mountaintops. Like you gotta go through the valley sometimes. And I just thought like it would be interesting to try like a more serious take on this.
Uh-huh. That's cool.
And I use that as like a metaphor for like all these different kind of places in life. Like being a CEO is a mountaintop in some context. Being a stay-at-home mom is a mountaintop. Being a blues musician is a mountaintop. And I've been all of those kind of. I mean, in one kind of iteration or another.
The stay-at-home mom, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm there.
So before you're doing music for a living, you did work like
I was in real estate for 16
in Austin.
16 years in Austin, yeah.
So you moved to Austin in 2000, you say.
hmm Yeah.
And now for how long you been playing? Just playing?
Well, so I started this day job. Trulux is the name of the restaurant that I play at. I've been there for like 8 years, and so there was some overlap with Trulux and real estate, and like it was actually the more stable income. The real estate kind of became like house project money and just extra spending money. And then I was like, when Oswald was born, I had to make some decisions. Like, I had to decide. He had some serious health issues when. Yeah. And so we were in the NICU, the hospital, for like a month straight, and I had to stop all real estate. Actually, my last closing was the day he was born, probably like within the same hour that he was born. And I didn't know it was the last closing then, but I got to a point, I was kind of like starting to admit that I was half-assing music and I was half-assing real estate. And is this what I want to teach my son, to like half-ass everything? And like not really...
Teach me.
Yeah, brother.
Because I'm in the way.
I'm learning, man.
It's bad.
I'm just tiptoeing out of that. Like I know, right there.
That 3 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, that was 3 years ago.
Yeah. 4 years ago.
And just started kind of working on myself and facing. I mean, I've had a lot of fears around music. I've always associated it with kind of like flaky, like this isn't a serious thing. This is
Right.
this isn't like how you really make money, and because money is what's important. And but I'm starting to re-understand music as something that is really important and valuable and needed in this world.
Did you ever actually formally study music, or was it just like straight from mom?
Well, it was,
Straight into your...
Mom and Dad encouraged the hell out of me, but I had a couple really amazing piano teachers.
He did. Yeah.
Like this is so,
You have to keep doing
yeah. So when I was in second grade, we inherited a piano, and like, you guys were kind of like, yeah, he's taking to this, like we should encourage that, and so they got me like normal classical lessons, and I was like learning, all that, but the problem is I would learn these classical songs the way I heard them in my head, and not the way they were written on the page. And so my piano teacher, bless her heart, she had the generosity and graciousness and insight to invite this old black guy into my lesson named Overton Berry.
She said, I don't know what to do with Rigel.
I don't know what to do with
I
Rigel.
really don't want to do the wrong thing with him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she said, I think I better give him to
That's
Overton
amazing.
Berry. Who's,
Yeah.
Jazz piano player from
So he was
Seattle.
all jazz.
He was all jazz, and he was, I remember sitting at the piano, and he just taught me one thing. He said, turn on your tape recorder, and he said, learn this. And it's a Latin montuno. And I went home and like learned it, and then, he taught me like blues and boogie woogie and jazz and Latin, I could just be a Latin musician, and I think I would be like happy in life.
What do you
I could just
think?
play like Afro-Cuban.
Yeah.
I'm very white. I need some some real
but
tutelage.
It's people who. Sometimes I feel that this is like personal, but I feel like I'm not black, but I feel sometimes like I feel as a black guy from Mali playing drums.
Yeah.
So you can be white and play Latin, and feel it the same way,
Thank you.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's what kind of launched me into a different track for music, but I think I never really took it seriously after high school, and I thought the only option for me was to become a band teacher, and I just didn't like the life that my band teacher had, even though he was kind of I really looked up to him. I did not want that life.
Right.
And so,
What was his name?
Mark Adamo.
Mark
Yeah.
Adamo, yeah.
Yeah.
The beloved
We were all
Mark
living in the
Adamo,
same
yeah.
town at that time, but
Yeah.
Erica and I weren't together.
Yeah.
Oh,
She was
so
married to
you
somebody.
knew all those.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
married to some real tall guy.
Yeah. The real tall guy.
Really tall.
Who's that?
Yeah.
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 So
Rigel's
you
dad.
have two girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Rigel is the middle.
It's too bad
child.
Chloe isn't here.
I know.
Oh.
Yeah.
She's so
Yeah,
wonderful.
His little sister,
Yeah.
who's not so little.
She's not so little, but she's still little for me.
The real blonde, long curly hair.
She was she here?
Yeah, she was here.
Super tall, almost as tall as me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's very tall.
You have two guys and two guys.
Who, me?
Yeah,
My sons?
Yeah.
I have three boys.
three guys. And no girls?
No girls.
No. I was confused with that.
Here's a
Yeah.
picture of Milo and her friend Taya.
Yeah.
Right, let's turn the light on so you can see.
Yeah,
you,
turn 'em
you
on.
didn't know the story, but me and you, I don't know if Chuck knew. So that's Milo, that's my daughter.
Mm.
Your kids were all.
And that's your-
And that's, no, this is her friend.
Is that right?
She's your friend
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Australia.
And my middle son that I just visited in Hawaii
But-
Does it go?
and Meadow were in the same class.
Oh, they were.
They
but that was
they sort of
before
grew up
that.
together.
But that's
No, it was
Beautiful.
before you guys.
She's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
We didn't even really know each other very well. I knew his dad
How old was
Yeah.
she?
because we played basketball.
They played basketball
together.
together.
And I'd
Oh.
see him at coffee
She,
sometimes.
Oh, I see.
I thought it was
Is that
I
her?
knew who his dad was
Same
way
place?
more than Erica or
I
the
think
kids.
she's died.
super
Years old.
Yeah.
And
That's what I call it.
Rigel and the guy who wrote that first song he did used to play on the streets of Fort Townsend.
Yep.
And they were like, what, sophomores in high school or juniors?
Yeah, I was a sophomore and he was a junior.
Yeah.
And that was probably where I got most of my performing experience, was on the streets.
of Fort
Because
Townsend.
these people, it was a tourist town, right? And people would come in on a ferry and they would just
And then
walk
other
by
people
us and
are
drop in
older.
5s and 10s. And for like high school kids, that's money. Like I made more like money per hour, I think, on some of those like Saturday afternoons.
And you were playing keyboard?
I was playing piano and he was playing saxophone, Eli. But then he graduated and I was like, well, I'm gonna start singing. And it kind of just happened. I learned all of these jazz standards because he was playing them on the saxophone. That's how I...
So you just had like some small keyboard kind
Yeah.
of that you carried?
I had a Roland and an amp.
Yeah.
And one of the shops let me like plug in to their...
You played in front of the police station too, something, didn't you?
On the street? So I wasn't, I didn't.
Yeah.
It was close to the police
He was
station.
busking.
Yeah. I was busking.
Busking is playing on the street.
Playing on the street, yeah.
People give
For
you
money.
Yeah. But I was
How's that
amplified.
experience? I never really had it.
It was interesting. I mean, I feel like
I bet.
it really prepared me for... It was like a really good experience because like, you know, some people stop and really hang out and like want to interact, and then some people just walk by.
Yeah.
And like every time someone walks by and doesn't acknowledge me, it's kind of like, oh. And that's what happens in a restaurant too. Like, no, not everyone tips. Not everyone like
Not everyone likes what you
listening.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they're busy.
I have a friend where I play in this band, Concepto Tambor. The guy was like a street musician for years.
Really?
And he's so talented and he has something else, you know. And he said he got that like I see something like a special on the street.
Really?
Because I was like playing in the street, you know.
Uh-huh.
It's an interesting thing, you know. I don't know. That's cool.
I think it would be, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still drawn to it a
Put
little
yourself
bit.
up. Yeah, so that's
Um,
Chloe right there, and her husband Scott.
yeah.
They were on Oahu. That was Cliff and I.
Oahu is
Is
Hawaii.
Hawaii, yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
when you go do shows. You stay with them.
Yeah.